Greetings and good day everyone, my name is Paul Dulong and this is my video review for Captain America Civil War. Most of this video will be spoiler free, but I am going to take a few moments at the end of the video just to talk about a few spoilery things, but I will give you fair notice before that happens, so you don't have to listen to any spoilers in this video if you choose not to. A lot of people who know me may be expecting me to give this movie a fanboy 10 out of 10. That's not going to happen, but I will say that it is a great movie. I did love it a lot, but I do have a few nitpickings here and there, and without getting too much into the spoilers, I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what I liked and what I didn't, and we're just going to go from there. I'm going to start with the most obvious thing that I loved about the movie, and that is Spider-Man. They do make you wait a bit to see him, but he is by far one of the best parts of the movie. Him and Ant-Man straight up steal the show. I believe that Tom Holland is the Spider-Man that everybody has been dying to see. This kid nails it. I know a lot of people complain that he was so young. I think that's a bonus to him, a credit to him. He's going to be around for a long time doing this, and after you see this movie, I guarantee you are going to want him to be playing Spider-Man for a very long time. The current Avengers, they're getting up there in age. Spider-Man is young. He's going to be owning the Marvel Universe, mark my words. 2 or 3 years down the road, this whole cinematic universe is just going to be centered around him, I guarantee it. Spider-Man is one of Marvel's best characters of all time, and they nail him, and I just cannot wait, because Spider-Man should be the poster boy for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So whatever deal they got going on with Sony, it was the right deal to make. I also mentioned that Ant-Man stole the show as well. I can't get into too much about Ant-Man right now, because I don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't seen the movie yet. I'll save that for a little bit at the end, but I will say this. Damn, he is one of the best parts of the movie. It just made my heart happy in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. I honestly never thought I would see what they did on screen with him, and it just was perfect. I wanted to cry tears of pure joy every moment I saw him on screen. And I'm not even all that big of a Paul Rudd fan, although the first Ant-Man movie was great. He just solidifies himself as a bona fide member of this universe in this movie. I am down for anything else Ant-Man or Spider-Man related in the future. Those two characters were great, but what about another character that they introduce here? What about Black Panther? Well, honestly, I can't say I'm very familiar with him prior to this movie, but Chadwick Boseman nails this character. I'm not basing that on anything other than how much I simply enjoyed his presence on screen. Mind you, his screen time is kind of equal to Spider-Man's and Ant-Man's screen time, but he definitely left me wanting more. I may not have known much about Black Panther going into this movie, but he made it sure that I want to know more about him after this movie. So whenever Black Panther's solo movie comes out, he earned my ticket. I am going to check that movie out. As for the other Avengers, they all do fine. I don't think Vision or Scarlet Witch has quite found their groove yet. They were fine in the movie, but we never really got to know them on a personal level. Slightly, yes, but I was kind of hoping for a little bit more from them, but if you like those characters, I'm sure you'll be happy with how they're portrayed in the movie. Now to get down to the core of this movie, which is basically the fight and tension between Iron Man and Captain America. I can say this, that their conflict between each other is definitely handled with a lot of care, unlike Batman vs. Superman, where you never really got to understand exactly why they were fighting, at least not clearly. This movie gives you a totally clear definition of their clash of ideologies, and sometimes it's hard to figure out which one you side with. But ultimately, whoever you side with, I think you'll be happy with the result. And also, unlike Batman vs. Superman, we get more than one round of fighting between these two characters, which you would know if you've seen the trailers. I'm not really spoiling anything here. There's the airport scene, and then that other scene where they show Bucky and Cap taking on Iron Man in the trailers. So yeah, we get more than one round, and it is perfect. Both scenes are awesome. I'm not going to go into the spoilers, but that airport scene is everything that a geek boy or girl was ever going to want out of a superhero movie. It is almost orgasmic with how awesome it is. And now I'm going to talk about a few things I didn't quite like about this movie. As close to perfect as this was, I really found the first half of this movie to be a little boring. Yeah, there were some action sequences there, and they were handled well, but the overall story was just a little boring to me. Maybe it was just because, in my geek boy mind, I was just waiting for Spider-Man. Like, get to the point. They make you wait for him, and which is fine, I understand that. This movie is called Captain America Civil War, not Spider-Man Civil War. But still, from the marketing, we knew Spider-Man was going to be in this movie, and maybe it was just me being impatient, but I spent a little bit of time just tapping the fingers like, hey guys, get to the point, get get to the point. Mind you, the first half of this movie isn't as erratic as, say, the first half of Batman vs. Superman. That first half of that movie was a little bit jumbled. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But in this movie, I can at least give credit that it made sense for the story it was telling. But sometimes I was just like, can we move it along, please? Now, I personally have never read the Civil War comic book series, like that whole arc in the comics over multiple titles. I never read it. I do know a few people who have read these comics, and they have talked to me a little bit about them, and I can say for one thing's for sure, that this movie sounds nothing like what these comics are supposedly about. So if you're a die-hard comic book fan of the Civil War storyline, I'm not sure if you're going to like this movie because it takes such a departure from the source material. Now, me personally, I don't think the source material is all that important so long as they're true to the characters and give somewhat of a good movie, right? I mean, I think this movie was fine. But I'm not comparing it to anything, right? So if you're comparing it to the comics, I don't know if you're going to like it, but, you know, I am very curious to hear. If you've read the comics and seen this movie, please comment below, because I'm very curious if you like the movie. Okay, so just before I get into the spoilery part of this, I will give a score for those of you watching who don't want this to be ruined for you. So it's got to be with everything considered. So my score for this movie is simply 8.5 out of 10. Some of you might think that's a little bit low, some people might think that's a little bit high. Really, this is just my opinion. It doesn't really matter. If your opinion's different, don't worry. This is not an attack on you or your opinion. This is just one person's opinion. This is my opinion, right? You know, don't worry about it. If you have a different opinion, tell me about it in the comments section. I genuinely want to hear what you think of this movie. Now, having said that, I am going to talk briefly about a few things spoiler related. So you've been warned. If you don't care, keep watching, or if you've seen the movie, keep watching. But if you do care, just maybe bookmark this video, come back to it after you've seen the movie, and then we can share our thoughts then. One thing that kind of bothered me about this Civil War is that neither side really had any casualties. If there's no casualties, to me that's not really a war. That's like a blown out WWE wrestling match where the people have weapons and superpowers. Don't get me wrong, I do love myself a good WWE wrestling match, but it's not a war. The trailer leads you to believe that War Machine bites the dust in this movie, and, you know, show some concern in there. But when you watch the movie, he does get hurt pretty bad, but he survives, and Tony Stark's gonna fix him up with his nice little technology and stuff. So ultimately, there's just no stakes in this movie. It's fun, chaotic, blow 'em up action, mindless fun. And that's the problem with some of these movies, is they are mindless. They're getting better, but they're still just popcorn. And that's fine. I mean, look at me. I love me some popcorn. And believe me, there were a lot of people eating popcorn during that airport scene. And speaking of that airport scene, when Ant-Man goes giant, that just blew my mind. It was one of the best things I ever seen on screen. Spider-Man's reaction to Ant-Man growing big was by far the money shot of the movie. That's when you knew right then and there that this is the Spider-Man we are looking for. This is everything we want. The Bug Bros nailed this movie, man. You know, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, it's their movie. It's their movie. I mean, that whole scene confirmed two things for me. One, I'm definitely going to be going to see Spider-Man Homecoming opening weekend. And two, now I'm going to definitely go see Ant-Man and the Wasp opening weekend. I was on the side of Team Captain America before even going into this movie, and I was kind of glad that I ended up picking the right side. I mean, if there are any stakes at all in this movie, it's between Captain America and Iron Man. Maybe not so much casualties of life in this movie, but if there's a stake here, it's the casualty of their friendship. Ultimately, I was very happy that Cap did kick Iron Man's ass because, you know, ultimately he was on the right side morally in my mind. I understand why Iron Man had the opinion he did, but if you're superpowered, you know, you can't really answer to people with agendas. You just gotta do what you think is right. And at the end of that fight, then when Iron Man is yelling at Cap saying, "That's not your shield, that's my father's shield," and Cap just throws the shield down and gives it to him, my heart kind of broke at that moment. I was like, wow, this is just like train wreck. But it was good drama. Alright, so that's just about it for this video. I'm not going to go on a long-winded tangent like I did with Batman vs. Superman, making it a bit shorter this time around. But if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I definitely appreciate it. So let me know in the comment section below what you think of this movie. What did you like? What did you dislike? Does this movie make you feel any better about the Marvel Cinematic Universe than it did before? Are you going to see this movie more than once? I look forward to hearing all of your opinions. Thanks for watching this video, and if you liked it, please share it around or give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Well, until next time, my name is Paul Dulong. Thanks again for watching, and I'll speak with you again soon.